Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another handbag review of some styles that you might see behind me. But rather than break down each of these styles into individual video reviews on their own, I'm going to be doing a general SENREVE brand review. So I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on each of the styles that I have. And because I've had experience with SENREVE now for over a year, I'm going to be sharing my experience with the brand, 5 pros, 5 cons, and I will be ranking my styles from favourite to least favoured. Hopefully this will help any of you guys that have any of these bags on your radar, and if you don't, then hopefully this will be entertaining to those of you who like watching people talk about handbags. Personally, I'm very good about talking about handbags. Now, from the outset, this video is not sponsored, and so I have no obligation to be overwhelmingly positive about my experience with the brand. But I am featuring items that were sent to me by SENREVE. 2 of the bags were sent to me by SENREVE and 1 bag I bought for myself. Now, I appreciate that I am putting up this video in a landscape where there are many SENREVE review videos, and something that's noteworthy is the fact that a lot of those videos are overwhelmingly positive.
And?
People saying that it is the best bag ever, that they would marry the bag, that they would have leather babies with the bag. Even if the bag itself doesn't necessarily fit in with the aesthetic of the other handbags in their collection. Now, I consume a lot of these review type videos. I really enjoy watching them. I like handbag reviews, full stop. I like listening to the reasons why people enjoy using a bag, why they don't like it. And in the case of SENREVE, I really enjoyed watching people justify why they love the bag so much. Now, I don't think that I'm alone there in questioning the authenticity of one's overwhelmingly positive SENREVE review, but naturally it just made me curious about the bags. I think a lot of you are also curious about them too if you haven't had experience with them, and so naturally when SENREVE reached out and asked me if I wanted to try one of their bags, I of course jumped at the opportunity. And when I posted about them on my Instagram stories, I think it was around March last year, a lot of you were at me in DM saying, so many reviews are positive, I cannot wait to see you be brutally honest about your experience with the bag. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. Now, SENREVE have also had to field a lot of questions about this very point, the fact that there are so many overwhelmingly positive reviews about the brand. Their response is basically that they are excellent at getting their product out there. They are guns when it comes to influencer marketing. I don't think that anyone can deny the fact that they're very good at getting their bags exposed on social media. Now, SENREVE initially started as a direct-to-consumer luxury handbag label. It was started by 2 women who had made successful careers in corporate America, in consultancy, I believe. They noticed a gap in the market, and the motivation for starting SENREVE stemmed from the fact that luxury brands didn't have professional women at the forefront of their designs. You know, and that's a great story. A bag designed for professional women by professional women. It all started with the Maestra design, which I have here, which really sought to tick a lot of boxes. Now, I wanted to give myself some time to really get to know the brand and the different styles that I have in my collection, to really use them properly before putting out a video like this and sharing my thoughts. And so I have 3 SENREVE bags in my collection, which I'm going to talk you through now quickly. The first style that I ever got is the mini Maestra bag. Now, this is the first style that was ever released by the brand, and I think it was released in the original Maestra size, which is 2 sizes up from this one. So this is a smaller size that the style comes in, and I will talk about why I didn't go for the larger size a little bit later on in this video. But this is my first bag here. This was sent to me from SENREVE. The second bag that I have is the Alunna bag, which I bought myself during one of their handbag revival sales back at the end of last year, maybe September, October last year. This and the Maestra bag are very similar in their look. This is typically described as like the baby sister or the little cousin of the Maestra bag because the design features are really quite similar. Now, this bag I bought as an errand running bag, something that I could just chuck on crossbody and just run around and do my things with the kids or without kids. It's just one of those bags that I thought that it would be great for. And then the final bag that I have in my SENREVE collection, my SENREVE family, is the SENREVE Aria bag, and this is the smallest bag of the 3, and this is designed to be a belt bag. I think first and foremost it's a belt bag, and then it can be converted into different ways that you can wear it. This bag I have in the Dolce leather, which is the softest leather that SENREVE have available, whereas the other two I have in the pebbled leather. And I will talk about the leather, I'll talk about the pros and cons, the durability, because I think that's quite an important issue to touch on, and it's quite unique to SENREVE. And so those are my 3 bags. They're very autumnal in the colours that I chose. As you can see here, a very healthy collection. I'm very grateful to SENREVE for sending me 2 of the bags so that I could properly test out and try. So now that I've had a chance to properly use the bags, let me start with the 5 pros about the SENREVE bags. First pro, durability. Now in terms of the materials in which SENREVE bags can be made, there are 5 different leathers and finishes, and there are several different vegan options as well. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be focusing on the leather options. Now, the original leather, I would say, is the pebbled leather, which I have here in the Maestra bag in the pebbled forest. If you're watching this video, chances are this is probably not your first SENREVE review video, and many people have gone to great lengths at proving the fact that these bags have been so durable by scratching them, dropping them, hacking them with knives. Probably not the last one, but you get the point. The bags are very robust and durable, and I think you can just tell just from looking at the leather up close. I'm not going to be hacking into the bag today. Not only is the leather really durable, but for bags that are designed to hold a lot and be worn on an everyday basis, they also have studs at the base to protect the leather base, which is very important. And so when it comes to durability, the bag has this in spades. Now onto the second pro, and that is functionality. The signature core pieces in their collection are all designed to be worn in several different ways. So using the example of the Maestra bag again, this bag can be worn as a top handle, on the shoulder, as a crossbody, and also as a backpack, where you just sort of adjust the straps here. Similarly, you can do the same with the Alunna bag, top handle, shoulder bag, crossbody, and as a backpack as well. Okay, I don't have any bags in my collection that can do that, and so I think that that is a design pro for the brand. Now a third pro, or feather in SENREVE's cap, is the internal configuration. Now I didn't clear this bag out before recording this video, so bickies for the kids. I don't know if you'll be able to see from this, but there is a spot for everything. There's no need to use a bag liner because everything is compartmentalized. Mary Poppins would approve of this bag. There is a spot for my hat rack, there's a spot for my lamp, there is even a spot for my truth-telling tape measure. There is even a hook to attach your keys, because if you're like me, you're rummaging through your bag looking for your keys at the end of each day. And this is the case across all of the bags. So this is the larger style, as well as the smaller style. The Alunna bag also has the same sort of internal configuration and all of those internal pockets that make it really easy to place your things in your bag. And it's really nice when you're opening up the bag and seeing everything in its spot. Really makes me quite happy. Now the fourth pro is the fact that SENREVE bags are just considered designs. You've got bags that are designed with professional women at the forefront of their minds, but it's also designed for popular devices. For example, the Alunna is designed to be able to neatly fit a 6-inch Kindle, and the mini Maestra bag is designed so that it can hold an iPad Pro. And so the configuration of the bag takes into account popular devices of the day, which means that depending on what you want to cart around with you, you will be able to find a bag with the right dimensions for that purpose. And the fifth and final pro is the fact that there is such a large range of bags that there is a bag for whatever your needs. Whether it be work, needing to cart around a heap of stuff with you, whether it be play or running errands and you want something a little bit smaller and compact, there is a bag for whatever your heart desires in so many different leather finishes, vegan options, and around 40 different colorways. If anything, there are too many options. Okay, now let's get to the nitty-gritty of this video and let me talk about the cons. The first issue that I'm going to discuss is the leather. Now I know that the leather was embedded as a pro when I was talking about durability of the bag, and I still stand by that. But personally, I find that some of the leather finishes are a little bit too thick for my liking. For me personally, having experienced the pebbled leather in 2 of my bags, I think that it is a little bit too thick and a little bit too stiff. Everyone always says that they will soften up, but personally, I haven't found that they've softened. But I do have a solution. My solution is that if you don't like your leather to be too rigid and too stiff, because I know that there are people that actually prefer that, then you should opt for the Dolce leather, because this leather is actually quite comparable to Celine's drummed calf skin. It's a lot softer, as you can see. It's not thick and stiff like this one here. It's still got that same pebbled texture, but it's just started bucketing down with rain. I hope you can still hear me. But the leather on the Dolce bags is just worlds away from the pebbled leather in terms of softness and suppleness without compromising on durability. This bag is still very durable. It's still got that texture, and so scratches don't show up. I've used this bag really lovingly, and I can't really see anything wrong with it. And so while the other leathers are a con, my solution is to go for the Dolce leather. The second con that I have, which relates to the stiffness and rigidity of the leather, is the fact that the closure can be quite fiddly. Because the leather is so thick and the strap itself is quite thick, it can be a bit of a cumbersome, clumsy process to close the bag, because you have to thread it through this tiny hole, and then you have to snap it shut with the magnetic closure. Similarly with the Maestra bag, it's the same sort of thing. It's a really thick leather strap and you have to thread it through. This one actually is a little bit easier than the Alunna bag, and then you snap it shut with the magnetic closure. Whereas it's not the case with the Dolce leather bag. This one is totally fine. It's soft and it's just quite easy to maneuver. Another con that also relates to the rigidity and the thickness of the pebbled leather in particular is the fact that the bag is quite weighty. Because you're using such a thick and hard-wearing, robust leather, the bag can be quite heavy without much in it. So when I've packed this bag for a day of work, you know, packing in my iPad and all the things that I need with me during the day, this bag really packs a punch when it comes to weight, and can be really dangerous if I were to, like, you know, pelt this at someone's head. And so for that, I don't find it to be the most pleasant to wear. And then because the straps are so rigid too, it digs in, the weight of the bag isn't ideal. And I'm using the smallest size of the Maestra bag, and so I would hate to think how heavy it would be using the larger styles with laptops packed in there and having the straps really dig in to your shoulders. And so that's something that certainly needs to be kept in mind. Now, my fourth con relates to the design, and I know I've talked about design and functionality in my pros, but just give me a moment to explain. Personally, in my experience of the bags, particularly the ones that can be worn in multiple different ways, they are a little bit overreaching. It's not completely comfortable in all of the 4 ways that it can be worn. And it's also not easy to change between the different ways that it can be worn, because the straps are so thick and quite difficult to readjust. I think that the multifunctional wear is a great idea, but I don't think that the execution is perfect. I think if anything, the bag is good to be worn in 2 ways. That is, first as a top handle, and secondly as a shoulder bag. I think that to be worn as a backpack would mean that the straps for the shoulder bag would need to be set at a different length, which means that it won't be comfortable when worn as a shoulder bag, and it's not easy to adjust to the length. And so I think that if you were to buy this bag, you would resolve to wear it comfortably in 2 different ways and just make do with the other 2 methods. Another bugbear of mine that's just come to mind that isn't in the 5 points that I'd written down is the color of the lining. So it's a grey micro suede lining, and it's this colour across all of the bags, regardless of whatever leather that you choose. And I personally think that it would be better if the bag lining matched the colour of the bag, or if it was just a little bit of a darker colour. I don't really like this lighter grey. I find it a little bit jarring when paired with the colours that I've chosen on the bag. I don't know why it irritates me so. It's something that I've noted on both of the reviews that I've put up of each of the bags on my blog. And my final con of SENREVE bags is the price. I think that they carry incredibly hefty price tags. Now, I appreciate that they are a luxury brand and they do use premium materials, but considering that you can get other traditional designer bags at the same price, I do feel like the price tags are a little bit steep. Now, when the bags initially launched in 2016, they were really marketed to the working woman and to the professional woman, but these days I feel like their target market is a little bit younger. And I haven't seen many women in their late 30s really embrace this bag. You've got a lot of women carrying this to and from university. I don't know about you guys, but my university bag was a Carhartt backpack, you know, that I got for 80 bucks. But I don't know whether young Virginia would have ever even had the money to buy a university bag that was like a handbag that cost me, you know, 900 Australian dollars. And considering you can buy designer bags, it's the same price as SENREVE bags, I do think that they should look at contemporary labels and how they price their bags, because I think that would be more appropriate. Now, in terms of the bags that I have in my collection, if I were to rank them from favourite to least favourite, my top bag would be my Aria bag in the Dolce leather. This is a great errand running around bag. When I drop off the kids at school, I wear this typically as a crossbody. I wear this when I'm at the shops. It is really durable and hard wearing and also really quite soft in the leather. While this was the last bag that I got and the bag that I was least excited about, I actually really have grown to like this bag, and so this is number one for me. My second favourite bag is the original Maestra bag, which put the brand on the radar for me in the first place. I really like the fact that there is just so much considered design. The only con for me is the fact that it is just a little bit too robust for my liking. And initially, when I was umming and ahhing as to which size I should get, I had initially wanted to get the original large Maestra size bag so that I could fit a laptop in it. But I read a lot of reviews about the fact that the bag got a little bit too weighty, and because I'm petite, I didn't want the bag to overwhelm my frame, hence going for the mini size. And even the mini size, I find there are issues with weight. And so I am glad that I made that decision to not go for the larger size. But I think that if you're not petite, you probably won't have the same problems. The Maestra bag is still a really good hardworking bag. And my least favorite bag is the Alunna bag, which just so happens to be the only bag that I bought with my money. I really had high hopes for this bag, and I think that it looks really lovely. I've seen a fair few influencers wear this in this color, and I opted for the original Alunna size, not the mini Alunna size. This one that comes in a smaller size, just because I wanted to be able to fit in all of my things. I think that the capacity is quite comparable to the mini Maestra size. This one, even though it's a lot thinner, it actually holds quite a bit, but with that comes the weight issues that I was describing earlier and the fact that the leather is a little bit too stiff. And so I think by the time this video goes up, I will likely have sold this bag. I'm doing a little bit of wardrobe clear out at the moment. I think that for running around and crossbody purposes, the bag isn't as comfortable as I would have liked it to be. I think that it would have been a different story if I had bought this bag in the Dolce leather. And so my number one tip for buying any SENREVE bag is to buy it in the Dolce leather, because I don't think that you'll be having any of the leather issues that I've experienced with my bags. And that's it, guys. That's a wrap on my brutally honest SENREVE review. I hope that you found my pros and my cons to be helpful, particularly for any of you guys that are mulling over the bags. The bags have been around for a while now and they're still incredibly popular, but I think that it's also important to have reviews out there that are honest and from people that have had a chance to properly use the bag. You know, I still quite like the bags. I don't love them as much as other designer bags in my collection, but I certainly do see their value, and I do think that they are quite practical bags. If you're new around here, then I would love it if you stuck around and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, then let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. I hope you're enjoying your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.